Hey, what's up, guys? Jake here with another episode of On the Rise Music Podcast. Today, we are honored to have special guest, DJ and producer, Layz. Huge fan of your music. How's it going?
Doing pretty good. Thank you for having me. Just going day by day, especially like times like this. So if I'm not outside just grabbing groceries, I'm just here in my studio just making music, honestly.
You know what? That's honestly the only way to go, especially right now. I mean, with all the free time that we have and all the time that we're given to just be with ourselves and by ourselves, yeah, of course, be in your studio, making your music, constantly working on something. So then guess what? When the pandemic ends and everything opens up again, ready to hit the ground running, you know?
Exactly. It's cool, not cool, but it's nice that I and many other people have a break to really just focus on themselves, focus on their goals and their mental health and all that. It's nice. It's you also learn how to be by yourself, which is also
Mhm.
good.
Yeah, and you mentioned about like just working on your mental health. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm 21 and you're 20 years old, so we're fairly young, and it's people don't and like I know I've talked to people that are older than me talking about like, oh, clearing out my mental health, blah blah blah, and they're like, what, you have issues, blah blah blah. What do you mean you're so young? It's like, well, we still have to go through stuff. We still like deal with like loneliness, like anxiety, abandonment, all this other stuff, depression, and it's like, yeah, we gotta work on ourselves. So that's same thing what you're doing. I'm doing the same exact thing, just working on like what works for me, what's the healthiest for me, and just what I can do moving forward, because these are some very unprecedented times, to say the least.
Exactly. Totally agree. Yeah, a few things that I've been trying to stay sane is just working out, trying to stay healthy, cuz like now that I also telework from home, my fridge is like a couple steps away, so I'm just like let me not do that. But yeah, I try to work out as much as I can. I find that very therapeutic,
Mhm.
especially when for music, if I'm just like stuck on a song or I just don't have the motivation today to work on music, I will be like, okay, fuck it, I'm going to the gym. um,
Yeah, totally.
but yeah, something that also helped me was making a vision board for 2021. Like I've seen people make them like years ago, and I'm just like, I don't understand this. Like, why do you do this? Like, I don't really find that like pushing you to your goals, but honestly, it it does. Like just making
Oh,
goals
definitely.
for this year because last year was complete shit. um I just have like a big vision board in front of my bed whenever I wake up. I look at everything, have some positive affirmations, and that those little things like that, it really helps.
Hmm.
Like I'm
100%.
like exactly. I'm a visual learner, so just seeing visual stuff that I want to achieve helps me actually want to keep going, and it gives me motivation. It's like I have a picture of Lost Lands on that board, and I'm like, I'm going to be there one day. Like I
Yes,
know that
yes, definitely.
motivation to keep going and like work towards it. But I highly recommend making one. It's fun to make one, and it just helps you push more your goals.
Oh, 100%. And yeah, totally. Having a concrete example of like what you want to do, and having that not just in your mind, but actually on a piece of paper, on a board in front of you, like you waking up to it every morning. Oh, totally. That's just a great way to start the day, because you wake up and even if you're not feeling great, you see it and you're like, ah, I got to work towards that, or I got to do something. Even if it's little, I got to do something that's going to push me in the right direction. So yeah, that's a great way to start 2021, especially like you said, with the shit that we've had to deal with in 2020. So moving a little more into your music side, your what kind of got you into like wanting to start producing? Was it an artist you listened to? Was it just a moment where you were listening to the like just the music in general, and you were just like, wow, this is interesting. I kind of want to look more into it.
So there's a couple of factors. We'll start with my family first. My family was a big influence on me starting my career. Like everything I have in this room right now is give thanks to my mom and dad. So they're very like supportive, and I couldn't thank them enough for that because like I know a couple people whose parents are like, no, either going to be a doctor, you're going to be a lawyer, you're going to start this family business with us. And it was like very scary actually, like coming to my parents and I'm like, hey, I want to start doing this.
Hmm.
And like it's like I don't know what they're gonna say, and they're
Yeah,
like, oh,
definitely.
we'll back you up. And they started backing me up even more when they started seeing the traction I started gaining, and they're like, okay, like we're all for this. So definitely my parents, like I'm thankful for them for that. And then I started listening to EDM music, like I want to say when I was like 6, and
Oh,
that's
okay.
my dad because he would always listen to like Tiesto live
Oh,
stream.
okay. Hey, okay.
And it's like 2 in the morning, and I'm trying to go to bed. At 6 years old, and he would just hear boots, boots. I would like go and watch the live streams with him. So like that got me into it. I wasn't listening to it, but it got me into it.
Hmm.
So let's like fast forward to I want to say middle school or high school. That's when I really started getting into like the mainstream, like the chain smokers and them. I started listening to them more. And then when I turned 14, I started going to like these shows and like these festivals. Um, and it like really drew me in. I was like, I love this community. Like it's
Oh, of
awesome.
course.
And then when I turned 16 or 15, I saw an Excision set and I'm like, whoa, what is this? This is like a whole new world. I was like, who is this guy? Because I love him. It's like I got the chills when I saw him for the first time. I was like, okay, whatever he's doing, I want to be there. So I started like listening to more of his music,
Hmm.
dubstep. And then fast forward to 2017, which was the first Lost Land. I was really happy I was able to attend that because that ever since then that's like my favorite festival ever. And then just being there and just seeing everyone, the attenders, and then the performers, the atmosphere, just everything there. I was just like, wow. And just watching the DJs perform, I was like, wow, I want to be up there. Like, I want to do that. Like,
Hmm.
I have like the music background, so like, why not?
Yeah, of
So
course.
yeah, I started to learn how to DJ first. It's always vice versa for other people too. Either they started to learn how to produce and then DJ,
Hmm.
but for me, I started to DJ first. And then I was like, I started playing a couple shows, and I was like, okay, I kind of want to make it to the next level and like create my own music.
Yeah,
So
of course.
that's what I started to do. Um, so yeah, that's a little background of it.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you started really young getting into it, so it's honestly, and I know like you said, you were like 2 in the morning and you were like, oh, what is going on? But I mean, hey, looking back at it, like that was a way of like showing you kind of like even taking you back to Avicii. It's like, yo, he's one of like he's important. He's such a legend, and it's like you grew up listening to that and like experiencing it, even though it was like at 2 a.m. Like as a kid, you were like it still kind of pushed you in that direction. And like following that sentiment, were you always listening to like EDM growing up, or did you kind of like listen to EDM like you mentioned, like you just listened to it, you weren't a fan, and then how you came back to it like in high school? Were you always listening to it, or was it just something that was kind of just playing in the background?
I was always listening to it. Like it would be my choice of what to play in the car. But it would be all types of genres that you would hear: Swedish House Mafia,
Hmm.
and then you would hear Carl Cox. Like it was a whole bunch of mix of like any type of EDM. Yeah, during high school I listened to like more rap and pop. But still, I always had EDM, especially dubstep, as the first choice.
Oh, of course, of course. And that's huge that the one artist that you really were like, yo, I want to do this, is the one person that you released a song with. Like your song Zeus, like that's crazy. Like I can't even, like, I'm a huge fan of Kanye West, and I've thought about it, like what would happen if I was able to, like, I don't know, work with Kanye for something. I don't know, close or consult on a song or something. And like you having actually achieved that, like that's crazy. What did that feel like, that the moment that you that or how did that happen more so than anything?
So one, it still doesn't feel real.
Yeah. Oh, I understand.
First, before I released a song with him for Subsidia, I actually released a song on his remix compilation. It was the
Okay.
Extended Woolly one. I got to remix Evolution, and like I only had a week to create that song, and I was like, I've never done a remix before. I don't know how this is gonna go. I was like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I was like,
Yeah.
I was so determined. I was like, I'm gonna learn this shit. I was up for hours and nights. I was like, okay, I need a break. So I took like a couple hours break, and then I just finished that shit real quick. And that was it was such an amazing feeling, like being able to get the stems of that song and remixing it into my own sound. Like that was amazing. And then that got released, and just getting that notification saying excision tag unit post, I'm just like screenshot, frame it on the wall.
Oh, definitely. I totally agree.
Like this is, if you would have told me like 3 4 years ago I would have released official remix with him, I'd be like, yeah, you're a liar, get out of here. But fast forward to what was it, September, I made a song with Cliptic, and
Hmm.
we're like, okay, like let's find a theme for this song. And then we're like, okay, so his theme is all about like royalty, kingdom, stuff like that. And then here, my theme is like a storm and lightning. So I was like, let's do Zeus. Like that's the god of lightning. Let's do that. So we named the song Zeus. And we're like, let's make it feel more like Zeus and add some Zeus vocals in there.
Hmm.
And then, so we finished the song. And we're like, okay, are we gonna self-release this or are we gonna send it to labels? And I was like, I don't know. He's like, you should send it to Excision, and I was like, he's not gonna do that. I was like, no, and he's like, just do it. It's worth a shot. I was like, okay. I emailed him. I was like, hi, greetings. I hope all is well. Here's the latest track. I sent it to him, and then he responded really quick. He was like, hi, is this with anyone yet? And I was like, no, you're the first one to listen to it. He's like, okay, I won it. I was like, what?
Hey, that's crazy.
It was like, I still can't believe it. Like it's insane. But I love what him and his team has done by making Subsidia. It's giving more artists, upcoming artists, like more traction out there and putting their songs out there. And like for someone like him to accept a song like that, you feel like I'm actually doing something right.
Yeah, that's a major cosign.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling, and I'm just really happy it happened.
Yeah, congratulations. That's huge. I'm happy for you. Like to release like, and I really enjoy and I really like what EDM has to offer in terms of like labels and releasing on labels. I've always been a huge fan of hip hop and I guess you could say pop music, Drake technically, but just stuff that more so has a larger label that controls everything. So when my friend was telling me about EDM labels and how you can literally just release a song or an album, whatever, and have a lot more freedom, I was like, whoa, why is everyone else not adopting this? Why is everyone so greedy? Like you should allow the creator to have those rights. And as an up and coming artist and as somebody who can work with an Excision, like that's not only is that like a lifetime experience, like something great to get you started, but it's like, yo, you still own the rights. Like it's still your music, but you're working alongside one of these major artists. Like that's I love that so much about EDM and electronic music.
And it helps the artist get so much more traction
Oh,
too. Like,
definitely. Yeah, you're not chained to one label. You
and
can work with different people and
exactly,
get better. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. And when I was listening to the album, there was even producers on there that I didn't even know, and like when I found out about them, I gave them an instant follow. Like it's
Hmm.
really good. It builds everyone together.
Yeah, I really like that about the EDM community and the Plur and everything. It's just like, wow, why? How did I like turn a blind eye to this? I mean, I used to listen to it like in seventh, eighth grade, and I was like huge Skrillex, Swedish House Mafia, Dead Mouse fan, like all the people that were really starting the movement, and have it gain traction. And then I just kind of fell out. But recently, I started listening to a lot more EDM, like smaller artists through this and everything, and it's just like really interesting hearing the whole just the whole community and how everyone's a lot closer than they are in other genres of music. So I really enjoy that. And I mean, look what it's doing for you and for everyone else. It's putting you in a platform and an area for you to get the attention you deserve, because your music is really good. And let's be real, it's only a matter of time. I mean, you worked with Excision this early. Like, it's only a matter of time before you start like getting more like consistently just hits on hits on hits. You know what I'm saying?
That's why, like, this pandemic, I guess you could say I accomplished a lot of things. So
Oh, of course.
at least there's that bright side.
Yeah, and I've talked to other producers on here, and they've said the same exact thing. Like, hey, you either you got to take advantage of the time you have. Like I was talking to one of the one half of Plurthlings the other day, and he was saying right now is make or break moment. You either are able to find that creativity and push yourself and harness it like lightning in a bottle, or it's exactly that, like it's lightning in a bottle, you can't catch it again, and it's like you just kind of fall off a little bit, you lose sight, you're not able to perform, you don't have the instant gratification of seeing people cheer your names and everything, because other artists too have said the same exact thing, like, hey, it's really demoralizing when you don't have that, when you're used to it, when you're used to people like cheering for you. But yeah, exactly, right now is the time, you gotta take advantage of it, like grab hold of your own destiny, and hey, make the music that you want to make, and
Exactly.
as long as you're doing it, there's only a matter of time before you pop off.
Yeah, and it's good because now that we have all this free time, you have all this music that you wanna, like, as soon as the first show hits, you hit them with the ID. Like, they're like, what is this? Like, this is what I've been making.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that, and I mean, it's not like and it's like it's not like they're ever gonna hear it. Like, this is the first time like you're coming out, you're ready for your show, and that would be amazing. You know, you come out with a brand new track set, nothing, anything anyone has ever heard, and you're just like, yo, next week this is dropping, and then just play it for everybody, and everyone there just gets to hear the new stuff. You know.
Definitely builds the hype.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Um, Now, what's really interesting about your I guess you could say personality is you're not only defined to production and everything. You also stream a little bit and you play video games on the side. You want to talk a little bit about that?
This me. Oh, I'm the wrong webcam. Yeah. So I've been, oh, actually, a little background. A little background about myself. If before, when you asked how I started like my career, actually it also had to do with Skrillex, because
Okay.
we're well, I guess during the same time of EDM, you're playing Call of Duty and you're always seeing all these COD montages.
Yeah.
I was playing Skrillex, so I started listening to him too. So I'm like, what is this? This is awesome. Like, you're getting hype while you're
Oh, I
playing.
know.
Search and destroy, it's 6v1, and you it's like,
Blood's
I
pumping, adrenaline's going.
exactly. So I'm like such a huge fan for Phase, actually. Yeah, Phase.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah. So how I got my name Layz actually is, like, my name's Layla, and when I was thinking about my alias, I was like, okay, what do I want this to be? Like, I wanted it to represent me and who I am. So I was like, okay, people call me Lay for short. Um Lay isn't that exciting, so let me put a Z at the end to represent phase. So I was
There you
like,
go.
okay, we're gonna be Lays. But yeah, besides that, I just started Twitch streaming, actually, you know, um, because I've always been into sniping and just COD. I haven't really been into like any other games really, but I do want to like expand my horizon on trying new games, but mostly COD. So yeah, I just started streaming. I love it. It's definitely new. It's hard. The first few streams I did, I was trying to also talk to the chat at the same time. So that was interesting. Um, but yeah, I love it. I love it a lot. I met some really cool people while playing Call of Duty as well. Um, but yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, and honestly, I also, that's the other thing too. Like, if someone's really good at a video game, I will definitely sit there and watch them, because it's like, yo, this is, you make it seem like it's not even controlled, like the movements and everything. Like, I had a friend who was really, really good at Fortnite, like insanely good.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, "You sure you don't want to play?" And I'm like, "No, dude. It's like watching like an artist like work. It's insane. You're so
Yeah.
good that I'm just gonna sit here and watch you." And that's the other thing too. Video games are just a good way of blowing off steam, and that's one thing that I picked up as a way of helping, just like with my own personal mental health. I have a Switch, so I've been playing, or I have been playing for about like the last year and a half, 2 years. Smash Bros. Just
Oh yeah.
not super consistent. I went through a phase where I was playing about 6 8 hours a day, and I was insanely good.
We've all been there.
My grades didn't drop either. And if anything, they got
Good.
better. So, but yeah, it's just a great way to blow off some steam. Like, you get to like mash someone's skull in, but in like a cartoonish way. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
yo, I'm I don't want to mash anyone's skull in, but it's like, yo, that's a good like just stress reliever. You're like, yeah, I just destroyed you.
Yeah.
Um,
It's nice because when it comes to music, some days I just don't have the motivation and I'm
mm,
just like, okay, I'm just gonna play COD. Like, and I'll stream, and like it's nice to have like a full lobby with all your homies.
oh,
Like
definitely.
it's
Oh,
nice.
that's just the best thing ever. Like
Yeah.
when when my friend who I was talking about earlier, when we would play Fortnite, he doesn't play anymore. He refuses to play, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Uh,
they ruined it. And once they kept
yeah.
doing all the updates, I'm just like, okay, can we just go back to the first version of Fortnite?
Yeah, just keep it with the first version with battle royale. I
Yes.
love battle royale, or the team rumble, whatever they call it. I just, it's so much fun.
It's
But
like,
yeah, having your friends there and just like shooting the shit, like just roasting each
yeah,
other, like it's just like no better feeling. And it's like, yeah, you get upset, but you're like, yeah, these are my boys, like, or
yeah,
these are like my these are my homies. Like, it's just really isn't that big a deal. Like, we're just here having fun and everything. So yeah, that's a great way to help de-stress. And I mean, what you said earlier about the whole Skrillex and Call of Duty, I used to play. I didn't have a console growing up. My parents didn't believe in video games, unfortunately. Rats. That's okay. I can get them now. So,
that's okay.
but I used to have an iPod Touch, and I would play Call of Duty Zombies on there. And same thing,
Oh yeah,
I'd throw on Skrillex and Dead Mouse and just be just slaying zombies.
back
And yeah,
when.
it's just adrenaline pumping. It's just, and then they had what was the other one? Well, they had Black Ops for the iPod.
Oh
Oh,
my gosh,
I
yes.
downloaded it from my iPad and used to play it on my iPad, and I used to be like, "This nothing can get better than this." I have an iPad playing zombies. Like, this is better than the iPod. So,
You're bringing back memories, like back to the old days where it's just you come home from school and you go straight to the console. You're like, "What's
uh,
up, guys? How was your day?" And like
oh
you didn't have
man,
any work, you didn't have to work, you
your
didn't really
homework
have
was like
homework.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
It was like to do like 5 math problems and read 2 pages. Like, all right, bet I finished. Let's go.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh man, yeah, we used to. That was some fun times. Oh
Yeah.
man, everything got so complicated. What happened? What
I
happened?
know we're old.
I know, but I mean, hey, it's brought you to producing music, and look at what
Yeah.
you're doing. Like, who would have guessed? Like you said, who would have guessed?
Yeah, and I try to like I have a Discord, and this
Oh,
is where like
okay,
all my fans can join, and I let them
there
know
you
like,
go.
hey, I'm about to stream. I have open lobby if anyone wants to come join. So it's nice to also connect with them. I really like that. I actually have a lot of people that I play with now and that I stream with, so it's a great way, like I said, to connect with them.
Yeah, we had another guest on here. Oh man, I can't remember their names. It was a DJ duo, a DJ producer duo out of Colorado, and they said the same exact thing. Like, they literally DM their fans on Instagram. They'll post on Instagram, "Hey, open DMs, whatever you want to talk about, we're here." And I really like that, because it's like, um, you're giving the fans time to get to know you, so they don't just see you as a celebrity, but you're like, yo, I'm a human being. Like, yeah, I would love to be idolized, but it's
Mhm.
like, at the end of the day, I do the same exact things you do. I have the same
Exactly.
exact problems you have.
Mhm.
It's just that I have a knack for music, but it doesn't mean I'm any different than you. It's, I'm a human being, and I mean, it is what it is, but it just bothers me when people idolize celebrities, because it's like, I mean, yeah, they're good at whatever they're doing, but it's like, at the end of the day, they're just a human being struggling with stuff. Like, they have they have demons they got to deal with. They have issues they got to deal with. They have their ups and downs just like you and me. So for you to be able to be like, hey, just join my Discord, it's open. Like come, like, hey, this is what I'm doing, blah blah blah. Like, yeah, I love that. You're inviting the fans into your life and making you seem approachable and a lot less I guess closed off and just a machine in a way.
Yeah. I try to make it known like, yeah, you know me as Layz, but I also want you to know me as Layla. Like
Hmm.
I I'm also a human being. I also have a job. I also go to school still. Um I just make music.
Hmm. Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's not like it's anything. I'm just cooler than you in a way. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. No. But no, I trust me, I totally get it. I understand, and I really, yeah, I appreciate it when artists are like constantly talking back and forth with their fans. A friend of mine, or I when I was on Reddit, I had to delete it to clear my mind and everything. But hip hop, the hip hop subreddit would do Q&As with whatever artist, and the artist would go on and go through the comment section, respond to different people. And a friend of mine was telling me he got responded to by one of the artists, and he was like, I didn't really think much of it. I was like, well, I mean, he's just reaching out to you, like he's just answering questions. But I mean, to
Yeah.
him, it was like huge. He was like, oh wow, this is gonna make me. I can't remember who. I think it was Currency. And he was just like, man, the fact that he reached out and responded to me and gave like a genuine answer was just like, it just made my day. And I was like, oh, I mean, I'm like, I was happy for him, but I was like, wow, I didn't think that it was gonna do that because he was just responding to a question. But
Yeah.
yeah, it just makes their day because it's like you don't know what someone's going through, and if they really idolize you, that's just gonna make your fan base like stronger and grow it a little bit because that person will be
Exactly.
like, hey, Layz is like, she's a great producer, she's a great DJ. Here's your music, but also she's approachable. She's not gonna ignore my DMs for God knows how many days. She's not gonna like leave
Yeah.
me, just not invite us into her life or whatever. Like you don't have to do that, but the fact that you are doing it is like it's beneficial to the fans and also to your fan base.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, Now, like reaching out and everything. I understand you have your own merch line too to even drive your name a little bit further. And was really like excited to see it. I kind of got like a very metal vibe. Was there
Yeah.
any chance that you listened to metal growing up, or is that just a like a product of you having listened to like this like headbanging EDM and just liking this headbanging EDM?
So the metal part would have to come from my brother. I grew up
Okay.
with an older brother, so and that's all he listened to growing up. So I was definitely around it, hearing it, and I liked it. Like he would take me to Warp Tour. I think in
Oh,
like
okay.
a couple years. I don't ask me any band names. I don't know. Like now that I'm all into like EDM dubstep, I don't remember anything. But yeah, because of my brother, I was definitely into like that hardcore metal aesthetic, I guess you could say. But then once I like reached like 2 years ago into like heavy dubstep, like kind of like tear out, that's when I started to like love more of like the aesthetic, how like deep and dark it is, and like that's what I love. So I was like, okay, well, if I'm gonna make merch, I wanted to represent like me. So I was
Hmm.
like, okay, so we got like the thunder, we got like the little horns, because like that's I love to make like deep dark music. So I was like, this shirt definitely represents me. It has like the lightning bolts and everything. It has the skulls. I was like, I like this a lot. So yeah, I think
Yeah,
it, yeah,
yeah,
the light.
I was yeah, and I really enjoy the like the back graphic. I believe it's on, is it on the long sleeve? I know it's on the regular
Yeah,
too. Right. Yeah, it looks very it looks very Metallica Slayer,
yeah,
something along the vintage band tees, and I was like, oh, this is pretty clean. Um
yeah.
Man, I lost my train of thought. Um but yeah, it's just it's another way to like help, like again, help you reach out to the fans and everything. And I understand that your website went up a month ago. So how's outreach and everything with that?
It's doing really good. I was actually really surprised of the first week that I dropped my merch and so many people bought it. It's just it's such a great feeling knowing that there's people around the world. It's not just the country, but the world. I have someone from Budapest, from
Oh
France, from
wow. Oh
Mexico.
wow.
Yeah, I was like, this is insane. And I'm just like, I I feel so, I don't know, it's a good high to have, that knowing there's people out there that, one, I've never spoke to that buy my merch, two,
Mhm.
that love my music that buy my merch, three, that I have a friendship with that I've never met yet. Hopefully I get to meet them at a festival or something.
Oh,
And that,
definitely.
and like having them to ask like, can you also sign the shirt for me? I'm just like, that is so sick. Like that's awesome. It's a great feeling, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course it is. You're like you said, you're meeting people from across the world that you never even would have thought your music would reach, or you never even would have like fathomed knowing someone there had you not gone into like production or anything, or even while you are producing, like you don't even think that your music's going to reach that many people. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's just a great thing to connect to people like across the world, and for them to reach out and be like, hey, yeah, can you like sign the t-shirt maybe?
Yeah. I was like, I've never been asked that, but that'd be cool.
I mean, if you want to, like, I can, but I don't know why you would want it. It's whatever, I
Yeah.
guess.
It's
um,
like when I played a couple drive-ins last year. After I performed, I was walking to my friend's car, and I couldn't even. It literally took me an hour to get to her car because every car I would pass, everyone's just like, "Come here!" Like this one girl like grabbed me.
oh shit.
I was like, "What's going on?" And they're like, "Can we take a picture with you? You did so good." I was like, "Can you sign my shoes?" And like, I saw this one guy's shoes, and it has like sudden death signing it. Sullivan King signed it. I was like, "You want me to sign that?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay." So that was really cool. But yeah, I always try to interact with the audience who watched me perform, my fans, after a show or a drive-in, just so they know, like, I'm not just gonna stand backstage the whole time. Like, no,
Mhm.
that's not me. I want to go out. Like, I wish I was in the crowd half the time.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, like I someone asked me this question. They're like, well, would you rather be like backstage the whole time or in the crowd? I'm like, I want to be in the crowd. Like, throw me in a mosh pit or something. Like, I want to be in there.
Yeah, and it's like that's what got you into it was the environment, was the crowd. It's like this
Yeah,
is you saw the person on stage and you were like, "Wow, I would love to be up there." But that's only because you felt what they were putting out. So it's like
exactly.
why like for you to for artists to be like, I'm backstage, I'm no longer part of the crowd anymore. It's like, hold on, you're not really getting it. It's a whole experience, and you've got to allow yourself to be open to the fans, because the fans were, or you were a fan once, and that's what drove you to be a producer. So yeah, that's again, that's another way to reach out to your fans, and a great way to connect with them.
Yeah, it's a great
Um,
feeling.
Now you were mentioning earlier about your sound and your music, how it's a little darker. It sounds like a storm and everything. Have you had people come up to you and been like, "Wow, I didn't think that music was gonna come from you," or I didn't realize that? Because like, yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I was like, "Wow, this music's really aggressive," but I mean, it goes, and I'm just curious. Have you had people come up and be like, "What? Why are you making
Yeah,
this music? Why are you making happy music?"
it's so funny. I remember this one guy, I think it was in Cincinnati. Um, he was like, he came up to me, he's like, listen, I don't mean to sound offensive at all, but when I saw your little self, girly, innocent little girl walk up on stage, I thought you were about to play house music. And he was like, once you press play, I was like, what the hell? I will never forget that. It was so funny. But yeah, I've had a couple people where they'll like tweet at me after I perform and they'll be like, I was not expecting that. And I was like, well, that's what I wanted.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
it's good to like surprise them, and it's so funny how they're just like, you look like such an innocent little girl that plays happy music, and then you just play this stuff. So it's funny. It's so funny to see their reactions, especially like the production people who are like getting ready for like the stage, and like the lighting people, they don't expect what they're about to hear.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah,
Ready to
it's
drop
fun.
some hard beats. Yeah, and what's really cool too is how you're like kind of breaking stereotypes. And like to build off of that, you're part of Girl Gang, to my knowledge, you've released a song with them too. So what
Yeah.
is it like working with other women in the industry and like kind of empowering each other and even like just fans that are women as well?
So I joined the Girl Gang, I want to say maybe 2 years ago. Yeah, when I first started DJing,
Okay.
this page came up and I was like, I want to be in this. I was like, this is cool. It's all women. It's like, and it made me feel, and I'm sure I can speak for other women in that made us feel, what's the word? Um, More like open out there, I guess you could say, or comfortable
Mhm.
to be in a group where it's all women, especially if that like this industry is male dominant, and
Oh,
like
definitely.
it could be intimidating sometimes
Yeah, of
to
course.
start. Because I've definitely, when I first started out, I would always get like, oh, her boyfriend made that song for her, or oh, she's only playing because her boyfriend got her on that lineup. Like, I've heard it all. And it's just being able to be in that group with all those women, and we not only talk about music, but mental health,
Hmm.
tips, way better networking, because it's not just musicians in there, it's also female managers, uh,
Oh, okay.
yeah, female VJs that do the visuals. So
Mhm.
it's not just producers, and there's also vocalists and such like that. So when I just first started out DJing, I definitely felt better being in that community. Um, just more, what's the word? Confident, I guess you could say.
Yeah, of course.
Um, but yeah, being in Girl Gang, I definitely recommend it for any girls listening to this that want to become a DJ, a producer, anything in the EDM industry field. Uh, it's amazing. The girls that I've met are amazing. I love them. They're great people.
Yeah,
Yeah. So shout out to Jeannie for making Girl Gang.
yeah, shout out. Yeah, I mean, I have two sisters and I had a mom who was very influential in my worldview and everything. So I totally understand how stuff can get really uncomfortable. I understand that I will never fully feel and fully comprehend
Yeah.
the uncomfortability or just like the anxiousness of being in an environment just that's just dominated by men. But I sympathize and I totally understand and I appreciate what you're doing and what everyone else in Girl Gang is doing. It's like, yeah, there needs to be empowerment. There needs to be a diverse presence of producers, like you said, producers, managers, vocalists, whoever, just everyone that's involved in the EDM community. There needs to be more diversity because I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I we were going through these interviews and I was like, hey, we don't have any female guests. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't mean to be like kind of sexist a little bit and be poking at that and overanalyze, but I was like, this is a little, I don't know, it's just irked like bothered me, and that was
Yeah.
when we started. I
That's
mean, it's
good
not like
to notice.
yeah, I mean, thank you. It's not like we meant to do that, but it was just going right over our heads, and I was like, hold on, let's slow it down a little bit.
Yeah.
And because I agree, there are a lot of very talented people that very talented women that are in that are in EDM and everywhere. Really, it's like, yo, there needs to stop being just an overlooking of talent because what, she's a woman. Like, no, it should be like, if you're good, you're good. I could care I could care who you are, just as long as you're a clean person, you're a good person and you have a good heart. Like, if you're willing to work and get done what you want to get done, like, let's give the opportunity. So yeah, when I noticed that, I was like, hey, we should look into this. um but no, I'm really glad that you found that community and that you guys are pushing each other and everything. And yeah, there really has to be a lot of outreach to people that want to get started too, because it's like, I mean, like you can be up there and be like, hey, just go for it, just email excision, whatever, like that experience and everything, and you can give that as like an advice, because people starting out more than likely won't know that. They'll be like timid, they'll be scared, and that might even hinder them from even starting like a producing career or
Yeah.
a DJing career.
It's
So
definitely
having
scary.
that, So having that panel is really beneficial, not only for like to be a community together, but to also reach out and help others.
Yeah. 100%. Yep.
And yeah, I mean, and you're working with some great producers too. I understand you're working with Lizzie Jane on there, and she was one of our former guests too. And wow, yeah, she's killing it over there.
Oh yeah. I props to her. She just did a release on Disciple Roundtable. So
That's right.
yeah, I'm so happy for her. That was awesome.
Yeah, and there you go. You get to name recognition, work with different people, and it's just like, hey, we're all winning here. Like no one's really coming out on top over the other. We're all coming out on top.
Exactly.
Especially in an industry as cutthroat as music, and as many producers as that are in the EDM field. It's like you're stronger in numbers, and if you guys break away from each other, it's like, yeah, we're not going to get anywhere. But as long as you stick together, hold each other accountable, and push each other to be where you want, inspire others as well, you guys are going to do great things.
Exactly. Like there's room for everyone.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's like if you really want to, you can find your place, you know.
Hmm.
Um, it was great chopping up with you today. I had a great time. I'm glad to have heard some stories from you, a little bit about your music background and everything. But you're a busy woman. You got to get more remixes done for Excision. You got to get more projects done to get ready to blow some minds. But however, before I let you go, I do want to ask you one final thing. It's kind of like a two-part question. So one, what is one thing you would tell your younger self, or just anyone starting out, piece of advice, so whatever, something that you would like to have known or would like someone else to know, and who or what artists, or let me rephrase that, um, who would you like to shout out, whether that be producers, vocalists, whoever. Go ahead and shout them out after you answer the first question.
Okay. So for the first question, can you? Oh, okay. No, I remember. So I wish I would have heard this from someone when I first started out producing and like fully digest it. But one, number one, do not compare yourself to other people. And what I did was I first got Ableton, opened the DAW, didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was like, this looks gibberish to me. I'm like, okay, I'm 1 month in and I'm like, why don't I sound like Company? Why don't I sound like Excision? I'm like, bitch, if you don't stop comparing yourself to someone who's been in the game for like over 10 years, I was like, I need to stop doing that because that just discourages you so much.
100%.
It's oh my gosh, like and sometimes I still do it and I'm just like I can't keep comparing myself to someone who's been in the game for years. Like
Hmm.
I can't be doing that. Um is there another one? There's always room for improvement.
100%.
Um, once you finish a song, try to go to the next level, do something different, whether if it's like a different drum pattern for a build or using different effects, like always room for improvement, always take a couple hours a day, I want to say, when you first start out, just getting familiar with your DAW, the program you're using. Um, that will definitely speed things up. YouTube is your best friend.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah. Um, and an artist to shout out. I,
You
oh
can
God.
you can do however many you want. It's this is
Okay.
this is your show.
In no particular order. um, I do want to shout out my family at Later Tonight Entertainment. I'm actually a Later Tonight alumni. I used to be a part of that collective, and their roster. Please check them out. Like, oh, I'm not just shouting them out because they're my friends or because I'm biased, but the amount of talent in that roster is insane. Like, please, like we got Cliptic, Vastive, Razor, Bloody, Witch Doctor, the Dub, Traptor, Doc Lock, like all those people, they are killing it right now. Um, and I'm trying to think. I think that would be my shout out. Yeah,
Okay.
that would definitely be my shout out. Besides my family and my friends and my fans that have been supporting me since day one. I want to shout out my manager. So yeah, John and Anthony and my agent Max. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. But yeah, that would be my answer.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you obviously hit some great points with the never compare yourself, and there's always room for improvement. Yeah, you don't want to limit yourself. You don't want to hinder, like we were mentioning earlier. You don't want to hinder yourself before you can even get started. So yeah, great pieces of advice for people out there, just in general, not even in music, just in general. Those two things will go a long way. Um, with that being said, I want to thank you again, Layz, for coming on and and
Thank
taking some
you.
time out of your busy schedule, and just talking about yourself a little bit, giving the fans a little more of an insight. Um, don't forget to follow Layz on Instagram. That is at Layz, Layz Dubs, right? Dub.
Do you
Um,
see?
Dubz. My apologies. Follow that on Instagram. Go check out her SoundCloud, her Spotify, wherever you can listen to music. Look up at Layz, Layz. Um, don't forget to watch our previous videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And don't forget to turn on the notifications to know when we're getting new episodes of On the Rise. That being said, everybody, thanks for coming, Layz. Peace out.
Thank you.